Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. Welcome to another preview. We're looking at the Blues today. And yeah, I hope you're travelling all right out there. Shorty's had a relatively cruisy day. I just went down to Torquay today with Langers. Just dropped in at the chocolate place. Had a cheeky little iced chocolate. He did some Christmas shopping. Went to the sandwich shack. Had a filthy chicken schnitzel roll. It was just beautiful. And then I had the afternoon relatively free. I'm playing golf later today. With Jonah, so yeah, I thought I'd just pump out a couple of SuperCoach videos, start scheduling these bad boys. So it's been good to get back into it. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the content coming through. Probably started a little bit later than I normally do, but once we get rolling, we certainly pump it out pretty quick. So it's obviously a busy period coming up with Christmas and New Year, so I thought, hey, this ain't a bad time to probably smash out some videos, schedule them. So as always, if you've got any comments or any players you think I should be speaking about and maybe missed that you're like, Shorty, what are you doing, mate? You got to talk about him. Let me know. And doing a little bit different this year with the previews, I'm just talking about the guys that I think are relevant. You know, I've done previous ones where I've had the different categories. If you've been on the channel for a while, you know them pretty well. The lock, the breakout contender, the bargain, the risk value, all that sort of stuff. No chance for my side. And just probably pigeonholed me a little bit too much. So I thought, stuff it, I'll release the shackles and just go nuts and talk about whoever I want. And Carlton's a really good example because I was looking through. I mean, yesterday's video, whenever I posted it, Brisbane, there was heaps to talk about. Where Carlton, not so much. And it's strange because they're a team on the rise. Sneaky little grand final chance, I reckon, the Blues. There you go. There you go. Shorty said that before Christmas. Just bank that. See how that ages. But I reckon they're going to shoot up to the lab, probably top four. Really could have mounted the case they should have played finals last year, but they blew it. They only have themselves to blame. And I kind of thought a few of the guys that represented some really good SuperCoach selections last year aren't so much this year. You know, I know we had Curnow, we had George Hewett. Even Paddy Cripps was a guy that was, really getting back into the swing of things. It wasn't that great. I was on the Paddy Cripps bandwagon all pre-season. It was awesome to see him return to some of his best footy. And look, let's start with Paddy. I'm just going to work through, this is the first one you've tuned into this year, just to make it a bit easy to follow along at home. I've just got the tabs up the top here, and I'll just work through them left to right, nice and simple. So if you're more interested in Georgie Hewett, talking about him, then feel free to scroll through the video and get stuck into that. But we will start with Paddy Cripps. And like I said, there isn't too much groundbreaking stuff I'm going to talk about today because there isn't anyone that I think is going to really boom or anyone that I have in my team at the moment. Did a team picker video the other day. Very loose, very raw. If you want to check it out, feel free. And look, Paddy Cripps, like I said just before, he returned to form. Of course, real stinker of 2020, and that was off the back of it was stinker in 21 and not the best year in 2020. Had us all second guessing him, but then he returned beautifully. I was at the game in round 1, dominated, even better in round 2, and then it was carnage round 4. I think it might have been against Gold Coast, maybe a hammy in the second quarter or something like that. Yeah, against Gold Coast, 7 touches. I reckon it was early in the second. He was looking at another ton, just playing amazing footy. So that sort of stunted his year and certainly affects the average a little bit. It's more like a 115. But even at times, I'm not sure what went on, but we even saw, this run from 14 to 18, just not his best, and then he was back. Went nuts in the back half of the season. I mean, some of his footy against the Pies was ridiculous. Now, how was this a 121 SuperCoach? Can someone tell me? All right, he had 7 clangers. 12 clearances, 5 tackles, 35 touches. Now, unless his efficiency is through the absolute floor, I've got no idea. Look at that, 27 contested possessions, 21 of it. Oh, mate, I don't know. I don't get the scoring system sometimes. But nonetheless, Paddy is a gun. I don't see myself selecting him this year, and I couldn't tell you why. I love him, but I don't know. I just had a look, and I just kind of think maybe he's priced right where he should be, and there's no value, there's no upside, but he's really bankable. I'm probably just looking towards other options as much as I do have so much man love for this fella. But yeah, that's not to say you shouldn't pick him, but just for now, I mean, he's a superstar of the game, found some great form last year, and that average would be even higher if it wasn't for an injury-affected game in round 4, so you can mount a pretty good case. Sam Docherty, same can be said. He's not someone who's in my team, and I couldn't tell you why. I think he's super reliable, and no one would have seen this year coming. You know, we thought after the stuff he'd been through with his health that it would have been an amazing story just to get back to footy and play 22 games, let alone be one of the best scoring defenders and best players in the back half in the game. Brilliant rebounder, and he's not even 30. I thought he was a bit older for some reason. But much like Cripps, burst onto the scene early with just a beautifully effective 144. I mean, you talk about Cripps' numbers for that 121. Well, Docherty was like the other way. He just had a stylish 26, but just was efficient as you like. Plenty of effective kicks and intercept possessions there. But, yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on Docherty. I mean, I think you're going to get what you pay for. A really reliable player, a quality player, and, you know, he showed us throughout. I mean, look at this. What, a low score of 73. So he didn't go below 70. A few scores in the 70s, but largely 3 figures. Great end to the year as well. So it's hard to argue. Not in my team currently, but, you know, he's sort of guy that you look at Sicily, Stewart, Dawson, you know, all sort of around that price range that we'll decide as this season goes on. And George Hewett, you know, like I was sort of started the video, I was just scrolling through these, and unfortunately, Georgie boy, it's all over. Thanks for coming. We'd love to have you in our SuperCoach sides, but it's not going to be this year. Loses defensive status, which he was always going to. I mean, he just played the whole year as a pure inside mid. And this is the beauty of this time of year, because this time last year, pre-season time, SuperCoach, George Hewett was not on the radar. There might have been the odd brave soul to go, George Hewett, wouldn't mind playing midfield. $3.99 though, defender, it's a bit awkward, nah. But he quickly became relevant as it was pretty clear he was in the plans of Carlton's midfield, very much so. But unfortunately, becoming a pure mid, average of 111, puts him at a big price tag. You're paying premium status. And he may well back it up with some really good footy, but even he had some injury concerns towards the end of the season, which just makes you a little bit worried with, he missed so much footy. The back concern, like he was captain consistent. I mean, have a look at him. Barely dropped under 100 all year, except for an 87 and a few 90s. So, outstandingly consistent, but yeah, he loses that tag, and unfortunately, that defensive dual position status will lose him from many of our selections. But if you're backing him in to bounce back, let me know. I'll be saying, gee, you're a brave customer doing that. But hey, it's the beauty of this time of year. How are we going for time? I'm going to cut it there. I'll be back and we'll talk about Sam Walsh. Let's take a look at Sam Walsh. And probably a few weeks ago, I thought he will be in my team. I just thought this bloke's a star and he could get even better. I thought, talk about Cripps not having too much scope, sort of price where he should be, 115 average, probably the max. Look, I could see Walshy going 115 to 120 plus with a slightly more inside role. Will he get that? I'm not too sure, but I just thought the likes of Kennedy and Hewett saw him pushed, not outside, but he became a bit more of a receiver type, and I hope the contested and uncontested stats can back me up a little bit there, because that's what it felt like. It felt like his contested possession dropped off a touch, and I think that's probably fair. So his contested count as a number didn't change, but he did win 3 uncontested possessions more per game last year, which sort of suggests his clearance is basically the same, but marginally down. And what was his tackles? That's always a bit of an indicator of where they're playing. His tackles went down as well. So Walsh, I think, has upside, but the biggest issue is he's struggling with what I believe is a back concern at the moment and isn't on the track. So for me, that just is a massive query, because I think there's certain types of injuries, like you can have a hammy at this time of year, you're just getting the swing of things soon enough. But I think it is a back concern, which does worry me. Yeah, there you go. So delayed training, won't resume full training till after Christmas as he continues to manage a back injury. It worries me when they say manage as well. It's kind of like, hey, nothing's really happened, but he's just struggling. He's just working through it. Don't know why. I'm sure they know why, but for me as a reader, I go, shit, what's going on there, Sammy? You've missed a durable, but don't know. So look, I think wait and see how that one evolves. I've seen players have not so good pre-seasons, play one pracky game and smash the season. I've seen some guys really struggle from an interrupted pre-season. So it's one of my golden rules to really be careful of guys that don't have a great pre-season, but I've seen players break that rule over the journey. So I'll let you decide that one. But for now, he's in the let's consider pile, but certainly no chance for my side at the moment until he can hit the track and we can see what he's doing. So let me know what you think. I didn't find too much value there from the Blues, but if you reckon there's a player that could be on the cusp of turning into a star and I missed him, feel free to let me know. But otherwise, I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.